There we go.
So, everybody who's watching, this is Lockdown Beers with Mr. Neil Dunne.
Hello,
the new BDC commentator who's going to be joining Ian Waddington and pro driver also.
Yeah, well, I tried.
The second bit's debatable.
Yeah. Did you actually finish your lap round, Buxton?
No.
Oh, we started on that early.
Yeah, we got going there early, yeah. I attempted 3 and completed none. It's very funny. I was brought up the other day, actually. A friend of mine that was over with me, Mark Elbert, he's been slagging me that we were walking across to the podium on the pro day, and you know the little roundabout?
Yeah.
He was asking me, was it slippy? I said, yeah, it's very slippy, lad. Yeah. How the fuck would you know? I walked the track this morning.
You never even made it to roundabout.
Never made it to the roundabout, no. I'll blame setup issues. That's what was going on, yeah.
Had you drove any ovals before that?
A long time ago in Rosebery. Only once. So, I've been talking to a couple of the guys. I was talking to Luke Barker and a few of his team about Buxton. I was asking them at Japfest what it was like, and I was kind of compared. Was it bigger than Dunleary? Was it similar to Dunleary? And I reckon it was somewhere around the same size. So I went with Dunleary setup. That didn't work at all. So I went. The gearing was way too tall. So first lap came to the centre section where the long pull between the two outsides, and I just ran out of wheel speed and the car kicked and then swung back the other way and just rubbed the bumper along the wall, the front bumper, of course.
The wrong bumper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that was fine. Pulled the bumper off. Mark sensors on again. I was following Ollie Bolton and broke the half shaft, kicking in behind him. So that was fine. Brought it back in, changed the diff and changed the half shaft, and went out for my third lap and initiated in. Fine, not a bother. Said I get a little bit closer to the wall, and
with the correct bumper.
Yeah, with the correct bumper. Yeah. I tell you, you actually had it. You could tell exactly, or you told me exactly where I hit. It was right around the gate, because I think does the wall flatten out there? Does it?
Yeah.
I'm so used to perfect circles with Kieran setting up tracks in Ireland. It's that perfect circle all the time. So you get on the perfect circle and you're sorted. But
really, it was Kieran Hines' fault.
I was just about to say, Kieran's fault. So literally 1 minute into the conversation, so far we've had setup and Kieran Hines' fault.
Yeah.
Not
my fault, anyway. I know it's not my fault. Definitely not my fault.
So, what have you been doing on lockdown, Neil? Have you been working, or you?
Yeah, I do gas emergency work, so I've been doing a bit of that. I kind of do week on, week off. So this is my week off. So a little bit of that, but I'm lucky that you can see behind me I have a nice shed here. I can do a bit of work in the car, do a bit of work in the shed, and gardening, and the house has never looked so good. So I've been keeping busy. I'm trying to keep kind of regular hours. If you keep regular hours, you won't feel as it's bad. That's been the plan. Just keep myself going. Yourselves.
A lot of people in Ireland have got a shed, haven't they? I like it. Is that Adam were talking about the slab?
The slab,
He thought it was a place.
I didn't know if they were just one, and everybody went. If it was a place, like a track, what kind of thing?
Up to the shed.
I didn't know if like Mondello. I didn't know if it were a place like that everybody went to.
Went to the slab.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was just a lump of concrete that you could do donuts on.
Yeah, basically any kind of silage pit or anything like that that's empty, that's the slab. Out you go and wreck cars out in it, But it's nice to have the shed. It'd be nice to have a slab as well. I'd burn a few of those tires up behind it.
That'd be nice in the garden. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
So, do you want to get into a bit of your drift history? What got you into it? Where did you start? Leading up to where we are today.
How long have we got?
As long as you want, baby. Until the beers run out.
As long as you like.
Yeah, well, look, I'm a certain vintage, I suppose. I'm a little bit older than a lot of these.
Can we ask how old you are, Neil? Or is that rude to ask you?
No, 42.
I was just about to say I had you down as older then, but that would be horrible to say, wouldn't it?
You're younger than that.
Yeah, no, I'm around kind of since the start, but started off spectating. Loved, I suppose, in Ireland, the big thing was always rallying. Rallying was a massive thing in Ireland before drifting kind of took over.
Yeah.
And I came up around the max power age. So big wings, big wheels, body kits, much like what we see behind us.
Yeah.
I might have done a bit of max power in
we're
him.
still doing it, But built at the time, I built a Celica ST183, the 2-litre non-turbo.
Yeah.
Had all the body kit and all the stuff.
What size wheels did you have on it?
All sides, 16 inch.
No, what? 16?
16s?
They're a bit small, aren't they, for a max power car?
I never quite got that far. But did all that and did all the shows and stuff like that, and used to follow the rallies. And D1 Grand Prix IRL started up, which was the very first championship in Ireland.
When was that, Neil? What sort of year was that?
That was 2000 and about 5 or 6, somewhere in around that. Yeah. Something around that anyway. Started up in Rose Green, that oval that I was talking about. That used to be the track that a lot of the drifting started in, or was kind of held in, So I used to spectate at that. Didn't really have the balls to go for it, certainly with the Celica. But started doing track days. Brought the Celica out to do a few track days and found that it was probably a little bit slow. So a friend of mine and myself went off to a scrapyard and we found a 325i BMW, an E36. Left-hand drive with the side all kind of stoved in. So brought it back to the shed and
via the slab. Via the slab.
So put that together and did a little bit of drifting in that. But pro drift at the time were starting to do in the breaks between drifting. They were putting on time attack, and from the track days I kind of gravitated into time attack. And that's where I kind of started my motorsport career in that. I built an S13. My missus had an S13 with a CA, which I kind of blew up, which CA is to do. So that was, I put an RB20 into that. I did some time attack and a little bit of drift practice days, but never competition. I was in kind of the club class and that came through the pro class, and I built the car behind me in 2010. So for the 2010 season, that was my time attack car for pro, and did pretty well. And it took home a nice few trophies, but the lads would say it's easy to take home a trophy when there's 3 people driving, you know what I mean? So.
Well, you get third place every time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was the problem. I couldn't beat the bloody Evos. The Evos were always quicker. Me with rear wheel drive just didn't have the grip, and for me to go faster, I was going to have to spend a huge amount of money on the car. So I decided I wanted to go drifting, and I tried a couple of events, but that car was it was too much for me at the time. I wasn't able to drive it. So the S13 that had the RB in, and that was blown up. So I put a 350Z engine in it, a VQ35, and learned to drive in that car. And that's where a lot of my driving style came from, because it was an NA 250, maybe 300 brake horsepower car. It was just full pin all the time.
What made you put a 350 engine in it?
There was a 350 here.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was literally that. One of the lads had bought a 350, crashed, and he'd intended on turning it into a drift car, and then things didn't work out, so I bought the engine and box off him, and popped it into that. I knew I wanted something like the 325 where you could just lean on it. It wasn't, there was no turbo lag to worry about. You could drive the absolute shit out of it and not worry about it. And it was brilliant for that, and it kind of taught me how to drive. The biggest problem with that was when you're in the semi-pro class and you're trying to keep up with the guys with 400 or 500 horsepower, it's very gripped up. So in the lead position is perfect, but in the chase position, if you came off the power at all, you just couldn't. You'd not to come back onto. You couldn't clutch it back because the wheel speed was so close to the vehicle speed with the power in it. So I got this baby back out again. Excuse me. And built that up for, yeah.
It's good job we're not in the same garage, isn't it?
So I built that up for the 2014-15 season, somewhere around that, and came out and did a year. It took me a long time to get used to turbo lag. Turbo lag is a nightmare when you come from an NA car to understand how long you have to hold the throttle down before you clutch kick it. It's just, that doesn't compute when you come out of an NA car, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And even from time attack, turbo lag's not an issue because the turbo's kind of always spooling. You're not looking for that instant power where you wanted to keep the car sideways, if you like. So it took me a couple of years. Eventually, everything kind of came together for the 2018 season. Yeah, 18 season, and podium the first round, came through that year, finished up in fourth, and got me placed in the Drift Games Extreme. So yeah, that was me. It's been a lot of years. It's been a lot of years pushing. I suppose I never had the natural talent that some of the younger guys come through with. But I persevere, if nothing else. But yeah, that's been my drifting career so far, anyway. So I was hoping to get back out. Sorry.
Go on. What you said?
I was hoping to get back out this year and see if I could do a bit better. Drift Games Extreme didn't really go to plan this year, or last year.
Last year.
But yeah, I was hoping to get out and kind of change that. I've done a lot of work to the car.
Did you have another crash? You had another crash, didn't you? I don't mean to keep rattling on about crashes, but I think the round we went to at Drift Games Extreme, I think you went into the wall there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was that a setup problem?
Yeah, definitely. Everything was going. Actually, I kind of got called out by Dave and by Mike up in the tower that I was going as well as anybody there on the Friday.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, like I was winning practice, which is always the plan. But I had full confidence going into that corner. A lot of guys were kind of a bit afraid to push it right to the first wall. And from the very start, I was very comfortable with that. But Saturday morning, I blew the diff. So I had to go from a 4.1 to a 4.3. So my gearing was fucked. So I went out, and then on my first qualifying, not only was my gearing wrong, but I missed her gear, so my timing was wrong. I came in, just pulled the handbrake, just that maybe half a metre too late, and bang. So rattled the car off.
Yeah.
So did you not manage to get through that round? Did you not qualify?
No, I didn't qualify. No. It was a very disappointing end to the season,
Yeah.
I found it tough. I found pro tough. I found it's a lot of grip. Like when you're pushing that kind of grip in the car is very difficult to drive.
Yeah.
That was my biggest problem with it, I think, But
it
was interesting though.
What do you think? Like sometimes you're better off having your car a bit loose and being a bit more consistent, rather than gripping it up to try and keep up with all the fastest cars out there, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of going with this year. I was trying to pull, and that's kind of happened in 2018 when I had a really good year. I took a lot of grip out of the car from the previous year, and the car was just way more drivable. And okay, maybe you're not as deep into chase, but you're just putting in consistent laps, and consistency, certainly in semi-pro or Pro 2, consistency will get you a long, long way.
We've said it for ages, haven't we, Adam, that like you can literally see it in a lot of drivers that the problem is that they think the reason they're not winning is because they haven't got enough grip. They dial the extra grip in, and unfortunately they've not got the experience to actually
drive it.
To drive it, yeah. So if you actually literally pump the tyres up some more and send it, and they usually do a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is a big thing. And the consistency, like from standing in the tower, it really drove it home. Consistency wins events. You know what I mean? You can be the absolute best chase driver in the world, but if you can't be consistent and put a good lead run, a good chase run in every time, you're not going to win events.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
So speaking of being in the tower, you've done a bit of commentary before your BDC. What have we been commentating on before?
It was a weird start, I suppose. There was an event started in Kilkenny. It was just a one-off event, Festival of Drift. It was a friend of mine, Alan O'Neill, if you know him, with the FCRX7 in DDM.
Yeah.
Himself and his now wife, Clara, along with some partners, they set up an event called Festival of Drift in Kilkenny. And they asked myself to come along with the car and set out some of the challenges. They kind of based it on, if you'd ever seen Turk, the video series Ryan Turk did a number of years ago. So kind of drifting games as opposed to a regular drift competition. It was different drift parking and hitting balls and this, that, and the other, So they asked me along to do some of the setup with them, and we drove the track. And kind of coming towards the event, I was saying, look, I didn't want to drive the event because I had a very unfair advantage after driving all the tracks, multiple times.
I thought you'd have jumped at that, mate.
Sorry?
I thought you'd have jumped at that. Chance of a podium and done well.
I'd be very fair play conscious. So, so we're discussing, and they brought over Ryan Turk and Chris Forsberg for the event as well. And they were going to do some of the commentary. And we were kind of discussing how, they wouldn't have knowledge of the local drivers. So we needed to get someone more local and, into the scene to do a bit of commentary. And my name kind of got kicked forward. I reluctantly agreed, but I tell you, I had an absolute blast. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And Josh Holdsworth was competing at the same event. And Dave was, so Dave was there as the pit crew. He called it pit crew, party crew is what it was.
Yeah. Didn't they all go out night before or something? I'm sure Dave was telling us something about.
There was a lot.
They all went out night before and they thought Josh was going to get knocked out straight away, but he kept getting through.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone had a good weekend that weekend. But he came up to me at the end of it. He said, "Look, I really enjoyed what you did. You did very well. Obviously, had very little experience just those 2 days. So he asked me to come along to do the Irish Amateur Drift Championship, the IADC, which at the time was a winter series, which was both a fantastic experience and the coldest fucking time I've ever spent in my life up in that tower.
Colder than Buxton?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
really?
Depths of winter up in the tower, blowing. Now, I've never seen wind like I've seen at Buxton up in the tower. But so I got the chance to shout in the mic with Mikey Fitz, and did 2 years with Mikey and learnt a huge amount from Mikey. Did pit reporting as well for the Pro IDC in 2018. I didn't enjoy that as much. I kind of felt uncomfortable with that a little bit, a lot more comfortable than I was up in the tower, kind of shouting. Like, commentary is very simple. If you've got 20 phrases and you just put them in all the time,
like wheel to wheel, door
to door. Shouting those out, and it's fine. He tags the wall, he's 6 meters away from it. But came on to DGN then last year with Eddie, and again, Eddie's a phenomenal commentator, and you can just, when you're up in the tower with these guys, you learn so much from them. You learn massive amounts. And I've been listening to commentary for so many years with Dave and with Eddie and Jared and Ian, and there's so many really good guys that you can take little bits from them and kind of come up with your own style there. I don't know if I have my own style yet, but I'm trying different things at different times. So we'll see how they work out, But came to Buxton then, and Ian had done 2 days of hard commentary, and a phenomenal event besides my driving. But Ian came up to us in the party tent on Sunday night, and myself and Dave, and said, hey, look, if one of you or two of you or whatever can come up to the tower for a little bit, just give a hand out, because his voice was gone.
So Ian, we're expecting Dave to get knocked out early then?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Dave just kept going through and through and through.
Floating.
I popped up to the tower, and I got the best backhanded compliment I ever got was, you're way better than this commentary than you are at the driving, mate.
Who said that?
Was that me?
Yeah, exactly.
I just wanted to make your trip worthwhile.
Good enough to contact me. Yeah, exactly.
So
Matt contacted me and asked me to come on for next year. Yeah, so really for this year when we get going. I'm looking forward to that.
What did you think when you got the call off Matt? Were you excited about it? Did you take it straight away?
No, absolutely. We initially talked about the Pro 2, commentating on the Pro 2, and driving the Pro, but I wouldn't have had the budget to come over for every Pro round. So I picked 3 rounds, and I said I'd fly over for the others for the Pro 2. And then he asked me to do the Pro, which kind of blew me away, because certainly I'd feel confident at the Pro 2 level of commentary, but I always would have felt maybe the Pro was just a little bit above my pay grade at the moment. So getting that opportunity to do it, I was really, really happy. Yeah.
Do you know why I did? You touched on it a minute ago, that the best thing I think is that you can see that you enjoyed what you're doing, and it translates through to the people listening. So if you're genuinely excited about what you're talking about, then the people watching get even more excited. It's good fun, like it's good.
Yeah, well, I think it comes across. I really enjoy drifting. It's been a passion for the last 15, 16 years. From spectating to practice days to competing to commentary to everything. I've kind of been involved in every different aspect of drifting, and it amazed. Rallying was fantastic, but the thing about rallying is you're waiting for that Mark II Escort to come blasting by sideways, but you've got 40 fucking Suzuki Swifts and Honda Civics
in between. Yeah,
exactly. So you're waiting for that blast of the Mark II Escort. Where drifting, you've got that thing all the time. It's just it's so dynamic, and it blows me away every time. And when you can see the talent of the younger guys coming through, I'm not naturally talented, but I can recognise it. I can recognise when the Conor Shanahan is coming along, the Luke Barker, Louis Edwards. Those guys, like Louis Edwards is his first year wins fucking pro-am.
Mega, isn't it? Mega.
Amazing. Like, and to see that and to be able to talk about that and commentate on that, it's just, I love it. Like, lots of door to door, wheel to wheel. Yeah.
you can't just rob Egan's phrases. You need to.
You can now. Egan and commentate. Oh my God, he's in Driftmasters, isn't it?
Egan who? No one knows.
Exactly. Yeah. So looking forward to when the season gets going. That's the big thing.
We'll get there, mate. Eventually, we'll get there.
Yeah, so, I think it's going to be. Sorry.
Will we see you on track over in the UK?
Definitely, yeah.
You kind of answered that already, didn't you?
Yeah.
So what rounds are you planning on driving?
Well, before it all kicked off, I was looking at Manchester. I love car park events. I love, like, it's just wall to wall, but it's all the walls.
Are you sure you like walls? Right?
Yeah. Well, the car doesn't like them. I fucking love them.
I'd maybe prepare the excuse book a bit more.
Yeah. Set up in Kieran
Yeah. Which others did you say? Then you said Driftland, did you say as well? I can't even think which rounds.
Driftland simply because I've never driven it and I really want to drive that track. I think it looks amazing.
It's good.
I hope it's dry for it because the thing I was looking on the live streams of Driftland, the kind of water coming through the walls.
Terrible.
It looks a nightmare, like, you know what I mean? But
it's because you can't enter as quick as you need to for the big pull.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
if you hit that puddle and you'll be in gravel, so it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'll let you into a little secret. We've got a date sorted for Driftland, but I've not put anything out yet. So
yeah, let me know after.
You'll still get the chance.
Just for you, that Neil.
Don't tell anyone.
Matt only wanted to drive it that bad that he booked another date.
Yeah,
just for you.
So Manchester was one, Driftland was the other, and then Buxton. I'm coming back to Buxton.
Just because you wanted to complete a lap?
I want to do one fucking lap, park the car.
I was just about to say, park it up after you've done it and go. Completed it, mate. Easy.
Conquered it.
Everyone's like, Neil, that's practice, mate. You've got to compete yet. Yeah.
Couldn't give a fuck.
Get me on the commentary.
Yeah, it was very funny. Minnie came up to me at the start of qualifying, looking for me to get to the line, and I was there in my normal clothes with a beer in hand, and she said to me, judging from your attire and your choice of beverage, I take it you're not going for qualifying. No.
It's a very fine line, that, between let's say you crash into the wall, I could walk up to you and sort of rip the piss a little bit. You know what I mean? Whereas some people, if you did that to some people, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Everyone reacts if I hit a wall and you come up to me taking the piss, I'd laugh it off and see the funny side of it. But it's not good, really. You know what I mean?
It depends how your season has gone. If you've gone if you've had a really bad season, you've just damaged the car, you've blown up engine after engine, you've had a terrible season, then it's a different story. But I didn't have a fantastic DGX season, but at the same time, I'm not out there drifting to win events or to. I'm out there for the crack, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much damage did you do to the car? Did it do to the car?
The worst is I pulled the frame. The front frame was gone across. It was kind of gonna. The chassis legs were gone over and up.
Right.
So I got a body shop local here to pull it. And it's perfect there now. So the body kit's looking a little bit rough, but I've been talking with Kieran the Mega Spec, so I think he's going to sort me out, and I do a few bits for we'll swings and roundabouts, but we'll get a new body kit on and have it looking mint again,
I did see on your you've got, obviously, for anybody who don't know, Neil's got his own YouTube channel, which is Neil Dunne Drifting, is it?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, there's some quite good videos on there. I was speaking to you the other day when you've done how to align your car with string and stuff like that, as well as obviously fixing your car and all the other stuff. But I noticed you've on your Facebook, you've got a video of you cutting the grass with your helmet on and your gloves and stuff on a ride on mower, and that's got more views than your drifting videos.
Amazing how that happened, isn't it?
Did you crash it?
Huh?
Did you crash it?
My lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, so anybody who's watching, head over to Neil's YouTube channel, give him subscribe and go and watch a few of his videos. I think I watched that alignment one and I thought it were mega, like it were proper. Let everybody, it were easy to understand how to actually align your car with a piece of string.
It's stuff like that has taken me a long time to learn. Again, I suppose going back in the day that YouTube wasn't there, you didn't have that kind of resource to learn a huge amount of stuff. So I was relying on other people to do my alignment and to do simple stuff that when you've got the space and a little bit of technical knowledge on YouTube, you can figure it out, So, the YouTube channel, it never took off the way I would have liked it to take off.
But it's hard, isn't it?
Sorry?
It seems like compared to like Facebook or Instagram, it seems a lot harder to get subscribers and views and stuff like that to crack it, kind of thing.
At the same time, I think it's important for any of the drivers out there to be doing that. And Dave always said, like, you've got a number of options as a drifter. You can go out, you can spend very little money, have a great weekend, and perfect. That's you've done your business. You can go out, you can spend a lot of money, you can win events, and that's going to be how you kind of pay for it. You get into sponsors that way, or you can go out and you can do like Pete and Nielsen did years ago with videos and with all that kind of stuff, and push the money into the business, but into your drifting that way by attracting sponsors, attracting fans and spectators and all that kind of stuff with your videos and with your YouTube and your Facebook and all that kind of stuff, So I was never going to win an event anyway, I can tell you that much.
But I think you're there's only really you and Chuck Geary, isn't there, over in Ireland, that really does much stuff on like YouTube and a lot, and quite a big social media kind of thing.
No, more so on Facebook. On YouTube, not so much, because it's very hard. Like if I put a video on Facebook, I know I'll get 1,000 views, 1,500 views, but I try to keep pushing people to the YouTube, because once you put a video on YouTube, after a week it's gone, it's disappeared. Nobody's ever going to see it again, But it's a great resource if you talk to any sponsor and they want to know what you want to do, or what you do, or how you do it. You can send them to the YouTube channel, and there's 30 videos, just bang, 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 bang. I think that's much better for kind of a potential sponsor to go and see than a Facebook, with a load of photos and a load of different shit on it.
The other thing is with YouTube is, it's lower numbers, but it's engaged, genuine views. Yeah. So it's real fans who are watching the full lot. Whereas Facebook, you get these fake numbers where, I scroll past the video and it counts as a view, just like that. Do you know what I mean? YouTube, you're getting it's genuine stuff like so.
The way it was put to me, which I thought was very good, was like if you were getting 50 views on a video, if you stand up on a podium and you talk to 50 people, that's a fucking lot of people. If you talk to 100 people, that's a massive amount of people. So even though the numbers look very small, as you said, they're genuine people who are following what you're doing. So getting to talk to 100 people on that medium is fantastic. I would love to see it explode, but I just don't have enough variety in what I do to make that. Like I can't, like the Adam LZs and they live drifting. They're day to day. Like I've a family to support and all the rest, but like a lot of the guys, and I can't do that, But I try to put out as much content as I can and try to keep it as interesting as I can with lawnmowers and whatever else I can think of. Yeah.
You've done a bit of work with drift games as well as the commentary. Like you did the video where you were drifting on the ice rink with all hockey players and stuff.
Yeah.
How did that come about? How on earth did you get your car on an ice rink?
MDT, who's a sponsor from the very start. He's looked after my engine and my tuning from the very, very start. He's a very keen ice hockey player. So he plays on the Kilkenny Storm team. And that's the rink that they use in the winter. It's only there for a number of weeks. So he kind of approached the owner and said, look, would you be interested in doing a crazy video with a drift car? And he was. And I was looking at doing it myself on my own channel, and I knew that it wouldn't do it any justice. I've got 2 GoPros and that's it. Whereas, if you bring in the drift games guys, they've got the proper equipment, and Josh is just a phenomenal video maker, in fairness. So I approached it. I think it was Adam and Josh that I sent a message to first, and just said, would you be interested in a video on a drift car on an ice rink? And the answer was a resounding yes. So it all kicked off from there. And it was sketchy to the right, even to get the car up on the ice. We didn't know if it was going to happen. Right to the very time that we got the car on ice, we didn't know if it was going to work. Because if you think of it, this ice is built up on a layer of concrete. That's normally a concert hall. So the ice had built up 4 or 5 inches. And we were trying to figure out how the fuck are we going to get this low battered car up onto the ice.
Did you put chains or spikes or anything on it then?
No, just winter tires.
Really? I bet it sketchy as out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very slow. And if you watch the video, you'll see a lot of the guys that the actual hockey players are for me to turn. They were pushing the back of the car to make the car turn. So that, but it was interesting. I was kind of worried, was I going to do harm to the hockey players? Absolutely no fucking way. They could literally go around me 40 times by the time I get a lap of the track.
So when you come over to BDC, what did you think of it? What do you think of it compared to like IDC and stuff?
Yeah,
obviously that'd be first round, isn't it?
I suppose my only experience of BDC, I'd actually come over and did a license day many years ago with the E36.
Which one was
that?
That was in Oulton Park. So I got my license.
That was years ago then, wasn't it?
Long. It was myself and I'll never forget, myself and Brad McQueen got our pro license the same day.
Right.
So that's it's quite a while. So watching the live stream, you don't get any idea of speed on the live stream, so you don't know how fast the guys are going. But I compare with Tomas Falvey a lot. Two of us have very similar styles. It's similar, I suppose, speed of drifting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the thing that he'd do well, but he hadn't won any events and stuff like that. And I was kind of hoping that if the event went well, I might see a top 16, top 8. I wasn't expecting to see any like a top 4 or anything like that. But I have to say the event in Buxton just blew me away. It was one of the best drift events I've ever been to. And talking to people beforehand, you realise where you're going. It's a shitty fucking hot rod track up in the middle of nowhere. And it was. But just the atmosphere and everybody was so welcoming. That's the thing with the drift community anyway, regardless of where you go.
Yeah.
Everybody was so welcoming. I had such a great crack. And, I think mine was the last music player going on the Sunday night with after the party tent finished, and there was about 40 people crammed into our tent with broken drift cars and stuff. It was a ball, that to me is more important to any drifting is the fun and the family and the friends. It's just amazing, it really is.
Yeah, there were quite a bit of partying that went off that weekend, weren't there?
Yeah, don't know what you mean, mate.
We can't do one of them. Yeah, we can tell Matt's took off these 2 very good parties on the Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, we got too mad on the Friday night because I knew I was driving the next morning. But once I hit the car, that was I started drinking, I think, around 4 o'clock on Sunday. I finished somewhere around 5 o'clock Monday morning, or Monday morning, should I say.
People the people love it though. Like the amount of fans and spectators and just people that and that will go to events. That it hasn't really been a thing in UK drifting before. There's never really been that party aspect of it. People loved it. So that's something we want to bring. It's still got to stay family friendly. You don't want to make it to be like an alcoholic idiot place. It's got no, you would fit that well. It's trying to tick that box of having the family vibe, but with a play. As it gets later into evening or whatever, you can turn it into that party atmosphere and see a bit of drifting and see. It's good, isn't it?
You got to see the drifting, and then all the fans got to have a drink and chat with drivers and stuff.
With the drivers, which people love, like getting to know the drivers and everything.
Yeah, without a doubt, and it's so open anyway, drifting, that the fan, I think the pits were closed off in Buxton for the fans, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were open, but we closed them in the evening.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because everyone was drinking, obviously, we closed them in the evening so that no one, whatever,
Yeah, no shit had happened, but
basically.
That's the thing. If you go to any other motorsport event, it's very difficult to get to the cars and very difficult to get to the drivers. Whereas drifting is just so open that you get the chance to interact with the driver so much, But then when you introduce alcohol, everybody just becomes a big massive.
a massive mess.
Yeah, that might be the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a bit about your car, Neil? Go over the specs of it and what sort of stuff you got done to it.
Yeah, it's the PS13, 1993. As I say, I have that car 10 years now. Started off with the time attack spec, if you like.
Was it standard, Neil, when you got it? Standard car?
Standard, yeah. It had a little bit of body kit and stuff, but yeah, it was... actually, if you look up the SXOC Owners Club, the project thread is on there.
The good old SX Owners Club, yeah, that's some years ago, isn't it?
Blast from the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's SR and has been SR powered all the way. I'm a big fan of the SR. When you get a really good SR, they're a fantastic engine. I know a lot of people get a lot of trouble with them, but I've always found of course I've blown up 2 or 3 of them, but it's how you treat it. Like, I'll take that engine out every 2 years. That's a brand new refreshed engine, if you like. And 2 years time, it'll be taken out, new bearings, new gaskets, everything. MDT, they look after all that stuff for me. And that thing runs like a champion for 2 years, like, you know. And like, she's pushing 500 horsepower there, which is not, I suppose, extreme for an SR, but it's a hell of a
lot, isn't it? Still a lot.
You run it on race fuel?
Yeah, mixture. We run a 3-to-1 on race fuel.
Right.
Yeah. And that's just to keep temperatures down. You know, that's
I noticed a lot of Irish drivers use race fuel, don't they? Compared to over here.
But we don't have the soup. What have you got? The super unleaded?
We can get 99, like 97, 99 easily.
Yeah, we can't get anything like that over here. So we need to have something to add into it or run. Like, a lot of people run straight race fuel, but I just find that very, very expensive. You know?
Yeah.
But like, running that kind of 3-to-1 mix, it keeps under bonnet temperatures down, keeps debt down, and keeps the engine, you know, ticking along. Takes a licking and keeps on ticking. And yeah. So yeah, behind it I've the 350 box. I've got the Skyline R32 GTST diff with the 5-bolt output. So it's a very simple car. There's not a massive amount of really expensive parts in it, but number one, it's how you drive it, and number two, I'm a firm believer in the clutch needs to be sprung. If you put in a paddle clutch with no springs in it, you're just going to break everything, you know. I don't know. I've been listening to you talking about your R33, Adam, and you had a lot of drivetrain problems with
clutch, gearbox.
Yeah.
Disc. Yeah. In fact, we went to Norfolk, and I think I did 6 drive shafts in a diff in one day.
Did you have the spacer between the outside of the diff and the drive shaft or the half shaft?
No. But I'd never ever broke a shaft.
And then broke 6.
We went to Norfolk and I did 6 in a day.
Bear in mind, Norfolk's the slippiest, ungrippiest thing in the world.
But that can be a problem. I see that a lot in the wet, because when you go from that slippy patch to a grippy patch, that's where it breaks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I've seen that, like the Watergrass Hill a few years ago, Alan Delaney in a 180, he broke fucking half shafts for sport the same day. And it was all down to, it was just that little bit patchy. So when you come onto the patch of dry, it grips up and fucks the half shaft out the back of it. Like.
Adam, is that the day when you ended up on the podium in my car?
Yeah, I got first podium in Matsy 92. Because I snapped a shaft, and because it was a charity event, they just wanted the show to carry on going. So they were like, just get in Matt's car. So all right.
I didn't get a choice in that. I didn't get a choice whatsoever.
Malks were literally just like, right, you broke your car. Well, Matt's car's there, just get in that. And I was like, okay. Couldn't even fit in seat. I'd sit in it sideways because he's skinny arse. Not to do with me being a bit overweight.
We all have our little voices.
But yeah, managed to get a podium in it. Cheers,
you did well there, mate. Proud of you.
Fair play.
So, on to the questions that we have been asking every single person who we've had on. Who do we think is going to win BDC Pro and Pro 2 this year?
Pro 2 is a difficult one, and I've been watching the show. It's fantastic in the shade here. I've been watching it every day that it's coming out, and I agree with everyone that Pro 2 is so difficult to call. It'll be that guy that can find that consistency over the year.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to see the guys coming over from Ireland, Magic and Davidus. I think certainly Magic is one hell of a driver who's learned a lot over the last couple of years. Has he gone through to Pro, actually, Magic?
No.
I think he might have just missed out on it, but I'd love to see him do well.
Do you know what them two put on the tyres?
No, they're Zestino Super Softs.
Oh, is that what it is that make the red smoke?
The red
Where,
smoke
like,
is
pinky bit. But how come it smells like diff oil?
I had no idea, but they're the Zestinos I have up behind me. The blues are a medium compound. The red is a soft compound, and then there's a super soft compound which throws that red smoke. So I've only used them once because they're extremely grippy and they blow apart. They don't last that long. Whereas the medium, the hards are fantastic for a track day. They just last forever. And there's no massive drop off in grip I find across them, so I tend to stay in the mediums. But I heard one of the guys talking about it. They don't dip the tires. They're just the particular super soft Zestinos. They're stinky and they are very so those two guys I think would be in with a shout. Davidus is wild. He's a smoke machine. He just loves just flattening the throttle. If he can tame that back a little bit, I think he'd be very, very good. He's just too much wheel speed. He's no forward bite because he's so much wheel speed. That's his biggest deal. Some of the guys coming up from Drift Cup are going to be a good shout because those are the guys who've been winning and coming into a competition used to going through the top 16, top 4, or top 8, top 4, etc. Yeah. People are mentioning Charlie Hume. He's fantastic. Again, that consistency is right there. So I think he's going to be a good shout. For pro, definitely Martin Monaco has been mentioned, and I think he's a good shout. I'd love to see Tomas Valvi do well. I think he's a fantastic driver.
Is he doing a season?
As far as I know, I'm not 100% sure. I've been talking to him.
He said, we're going to do it round by round, but he seemed pretty committed to doing it.
Yeah. So, I think he'd be a good shout, and he lovely guy, absolutely fantastic.
He's a legend, yeah.
Legend. And
I crashed into him at NEC, and bent absolutely everything on back of his car. Like I bent the subframe. He put all new Wisefab arms on one corner, and his wheel was still towed in. And then they realised that all the subframe were bent and that. I felt right mad. All it did, I just literally towed my rear wheel back out, and my car was fine. I kept going over to him like, "I'm so sorry, mate." Probably felt right bad.
Whose fault was that? Yours or his?
Well, I said sorry. I was like, "Sorry, mate, it's not my fault." And I showed him a video, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I did slow up quite a bit." But
yeah, look, it's happened.
It were 50-50. It was one of them, but I felt so bad ruining his car. Like,
it is a clean car as well. It's a nice car. Like,
you can see he takes such pride in his car, and the truck is just
the truck's mint,
fabulous. So he spends money on drifting, but he spends it wisely, and he looks after his stuff so well. It's fantastic, So I'd love to see him do well. Ollie Evans is going to be another great shout. Ollie's, but just again that consistency when he turns back to chase driving that little bit, he just does so much better. But I think that's
when he turns it down to 9.
Sorry.
When he turns it down to 9 from 11.
Yeah, from 15. Yeah.
So there are your things. What is your best drift memory? What's the memory that sticks out to you most from all the many years you've been driving?
The many, there's too many to fucking remember now. I'm old. I can't remember them all. There is no one. On the podium, the first podium is always going to be a special memory on the Japfest layout in Mondello. Love that layout coming in over the hill.
So was that in 2018? Was that like your very first podium?
Yeah. I'd done 4th place in Mill Street a couple of years previous, but that was the first time I stood in the box. I even stood the wrong way around and everything. I've seen so many podiums, you think I'd fucking know how to do a podium.
God.
So that was that obviously is a special memory, but that's not the reason. I don't drift for podiums. I don't drift to, I suppose, stand on that box. I drift for the crack, and it's I've mentioned it before. It's the friends and the family that you meet through drifting, and to different people. Like there's people that you would never ever meet in any other circumstance that drift, and you just have so much crack. And like the evenings, once the drifting is all done, the kind of the party speaker comes out, the beers come out. That's the best memories from drifting for me. That's when I really, really sit back and enjoy myself. And kind of go, oh, yeah, that was a great day.
It's quite funny, really, because we spoke to quite a lot of drivers, and majority of drivers are saying other things, random things, rather than like,
nothing to do with drifting.
That event that I won.
Like,
No, it's not that.
The actual driving is 10% of drifting. Less.
Yeah.
It's about 5% of drifting. 50% is in the fucking shed here trying to get the car ready to go again. 50% is sitting in the queue. The next 50%. How many 50% am I on now?
Yeah. You're on 3,000% now, mate.
Yeah.
That's how savage drifting is. You said about the queue then, like the amount of like good laughs I've had just stood in queue, you know, waiting to go and that. Like me and you, Adam, we've always got numbers next to each other. So in queue, me, you, and Ben back in day, we always had a right crack waiting for qualifying or battles or whatever. It's good fun, isn't it?
I'll never forget the one queue story that I've got when we went over to Japfest at Mondello, and we were in practice, I think, or it might have been in qualifying. Matt knocked all his bumper off his car. And we were both together in queue. So I got out of my car to help him put his bumper on. And Peter Vientek was the next person back. Or he was parked at the side of Matt. And he got out of his car and put a zip tie on Matt's bumper and that. Helped him get it back on.
No
and
way.
After Matt was like that.
Yeah.
You see that? We're best mates now, me and P-Dog.
Roll tight, mate.
The fucking Peter Vientek. Sorry.
It was quite a fucking... humble moment, you know,
the superstars, aren't they? End of the day, you're like,
without doubt. I got completely tongue-tied when I met Pedro Vientek the first time. I couldn't even get a word out, you know, because I just gone. I've been watching him for fucking years, and he's here in front of me. He wasn't putting the cable tie in the car, but.
Did you ever
better than you, mate?
Did you ever drive a Pro Japfest?
I did.
Obviously, before this year. You know, when they had all the big drivers and stuff over.
I did 2018 Japfest Pro. So
what did you think? What did you think? Like, you know, when you're queuing up and you're looking around, you're going, "Okay, now these are all them drivers that I've been watching for all these years, and I'm actually on the same grid of them."
That's the thing. It's mind blowing, like, you know. I did top 32 with Dwayne McKeever. Dwayne McKeever just had to beat me to win the championship. I didn't.
And you let him win?
What?
Did you let him win?
I did, yeah. But I didn't realise you could enter that corner so fast. I came in and I said, right, whatever fucking speed he's doing, I'm following. I'm not, whatever happens. Of course, I came in way too hot and spun around, but it just blew my mind how quickly you could actually take that. Because I thought I was fucking flying going through that corner. You know, the Japfest coming over the brow of the hill, clip 1, clip 2 on the inside, and clip 3 where everybody drops the wheel off the edge of the track. I thought I was absolutely fucking milling it over going through that, and then he just another 10 mile an hour faster than I ever seen before, and I just went mind blown, like, you know. So yeah, he won that battle.
Only just though, mate. Yeah,
you let him win, mate. You just let him take the championship. So if you got to BDC and your car were broke, you took it off trailer, your car breaks, whose car are you borrowing? We'll let you say IDC as well, because you probably know more IDC drivers.
Whose car am I taking?
Either or.
I'd like to drive Ricky Lawrence's.
Yeah.
Because very similar car, just has that bit more power. It probably has a bit more grip dialed into it. I'd like to see how far I could take my own car if I plowed a bit of money into it, like, you know what I mean?
I bet you'd be able to do a lap, you know, with a properly set up car. Like, I bet you'd be able to get all 8 bucks.
I don't know. Ricky crashed into it all, didn't he?
Yeah, Ricky crashed as well.
Ricky lost qualifying. We were saying it about before. Ricky always wins. If you've only been to one BDC round, but if you come over to one, just watch Ricky Lawrence in practice.
He wins every time.
He wins practice every single round. He's literally just on it from first lap. It's unbelievable.
He does pretty well in battles, though, to be fair to him. Like,
Ricky's a fantastic chase driver. That's the first time I've seen him. I think he was in the BDC in Driftland in 2018, was it? Or 17?
His car was blue with an SR in.
Yeah, exactly.
Driftland
TV up beside
him.
Yeah. Just blew me away. His chase driving, like, obviously, he knows that track, or he probably knew that track a lot better than a lot of the guys that came up once a year or whatever. But at the same time, his chase driving blew me away just from the live stream watching it, you know.
Yeah, it's a good track.
If we've got a money's no object build, what chassis we having, what engine package, and are you going to build it in your shed?
Oh yes, without doubt. Ultimate dream, money no object, is James Dean's E92, the HGK car.
I'm not letting anybody say that anymore because loads of people have said it.
I've just said it already.
Everybody. Need a better answer, mate.
If I build it in my shed, okay. The engineer to slide Hilux.
Yeah.
Frame Hilux. Yeah. But I want a convertible Beetle body. Don't ask me fucking why. That's what I want to do.
Just because you can.
Just because I can.
So what engine are you putting in your tube frame convertible Beetle?
Not a fucking V8.
You want a V8?
Probably an SR, mate.
An SR?
No. Do you think that SRs could ever be like really good? Do you know, like competitive? Like, because they just seem to not have like the torque and the. Nobody seems to really do very well with an SR.
No, in Pro 2 or Pro Am, SR is all you'll ever need, without a doubt. But when you do make that step to Pro and everybody else is running 700 horsepower, you can't put that grip into your car because the SR is just not able for it. You know, it doesn't, as you said, it doesn't have the torque for it. So it won't. Look at the guy in DMEC.
Oh yeah, Yellow 15. Yeah, gotcha, is it?
Gotcha, Chief Chan.
Yeah, like that was fucking mega. But that SR was a 20, 30, 40 grand engine.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference. So no, it's not going to be competitive in Pro, but in Pro 2, I think you don't need anything more than SR.
I agree. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
So when you're chucking 40 grand and having a billet block and
no way.
I think I can see one in corner at shed.
Yeah.
That's a cardboard box.
So, who is your favourite driver? Who was the one that you looked up to while you were coming through the ranks? Obviously for 15 years.
15 years. Well, D-Mac was always there. I always fucking really liked seeing D-Mac doing well. Going through, you know, from in America and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed meeting Ryan and Chris. Again, I've been seeing those guys for years, and two of the nicest guys you've ever met in your life.
Who's that, sorry?
Ryan Turk and Chris Forsberg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I would have looked up to them, especially like from the YouTube side and all that kind of stuff as well.
Matt's looking at me funny here. I think he wants me to tell the Chris Forsberg story.
Tell the Chris Forsberg story.
You tell the story, mate, if you want.
So for not many people know, but Matt sleeps with his eyes open.
Right.
And he talks in his sleep.
Okay.
I don't sleep with my eyes open very often. That's a special occasion.
No, you do. It's just because you're sleeping on your own now. You don't. Nobody tells you you're doing it.
Right. Okay. As you were. Carry on.
But yeah. Anyway, Matt sleeps with his eyes open and talks a lot in his sleep. So he did pit crewing for Forsberg when he come over to Goodwood.
Yeah.
And had to share an hotel with him. Matt didn't mention that he speaks in his sleep and sleeps with his eyes open. So in middle at night, Matt's chuntering away with his eyes open, talking to Forsberg. Forsberg didn't have a clue what he was doing. As to go, he thought he were on about curtains being a bit open a bit. So he got out of bed, shut curtains, got back in bed. Matt's still going for it. And you didn't know nothing about it, did you, Matt?
So Chris was really like I were, like Chris is obviously a superstar, isn't it? So I were like up at moon to even have an opportunity to work with him anyway. And then we got there, it's like, yeah, you're sharing hotel rooms. And he's quite a quiet guy, isn't he? Like, and it took, so that happened, let's say on the first night, we're sharing rooms for like 4 nights or something. And then a couple of nights on, me, Chris Forsberg and Jared Deander, we got pissed somewhere, I can't think where we were. And all of a sudden it came up. It's like he got a bit of confidence and decided to tell me. And he's like, so what was all that about the other night? And I was oblivious to it. And he started explaining it. He's like, yeah, you sort of like it was like you were fuming that the curtains were open. You were pissed off about it. So I got up, shut the curtains, and you still weren't happy. I was like, right. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
Did you tell him at that point that you're talking your sleep?
No, I said you're pissing me off, mate.
Yeah. Stop leaving fucking curtains under you.
Yeah, I was being serious. Why are you leaving curtains up when it's midnight? Get to bed. Then he crashed next day, didn't he, on track?
Oh, yeah. Weren't that the night after a big night out?
I mean, I don't want to incriminate him, but yeah, we did have a fair few beers that night, and he were driving next day. But it were driving savage. But yeah, the thing is that there were an issue when he crashed, and I then panicked because I was like, did I leave a wheel loose or did I do something? Honestly, I was panicked like mad. But we got his car fixed. We got it fixed and got him back out. I think rumours had got around and he wanted someone who could
hang on, it's 8 o'clock.
Are we clapping? Do you do that in Ireland?
Yeah. You do that in Ireland?
No,
clap for NHS in Ireland at 8 o'clock.
We clap for essential people. Come on, mate. That's it. Clap for the world. I'm clapping for Neil, mate. I think it's essential.
Yeah, we have to clap for essential workers in UK at 8 o'clock on a Thursday.
Yeah, I'm living out in the fucking sticks. I've never heard it yet. Now, I've seen a lot of people putting up posters and stuff for frontline workers, which is nice to see, you know. But yeah, the gas emergency response theatres never get mentioned.
Do you feel neglected? Do you feel like you should get a clap?
We could start doing it every Thursday on this.
Yeah.
We clap for Neil Dunne at 8 o'clock.
Then when he listens to it, like on a Friday at dinner time or something, be like, every Thursday, just for Neil.
Neil's feeling a bit left out. Come on, let's all give him a clap.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've talked about your favourite drivers. Have you got any questions you want to ask me or Matt?
Yeah, you messaged me just to prepare a couple. So the first one is from Matt. Does it have to be a particular type of mannequin, or do they have to be wearing BDC merch?
So, I mean, I like a nice figure on the mannequin. That got a lot more attention than what I thought it were going to get.
I did, yeah. Fucking right,
I knew people had ripped me, but not that much.
Or is it because we're on lockdown and you're not allowed to go and meet any girls?
No,
so you have to start touching your mannequin up.
No Tinder meets. Yeah, I mean, times are hard, mate. What can I say?
No, seriously, question now. Obviously, BDC, you run the show. You're there. There's no opportunity for you to drive into BDC. So are we going to see you come over to IDS, over to the Irish Drift Series? Yeah,
do you know what? I really want to. And I think last year, my head was that much in with just wanting to make BDC a success that I didn't actually miss driving that much because I was that busy actually running it. But I think then in the off season, like the more we talked about it, me and Adam went driving a bit in the missiles and stuff, and I thought, do you know what? Obviously, that's why I started doing it in the first place. I love driving.
Yeah.
So it's literally only a few weeks ago I've started buying some bits to get my car back together, and I'm gonna get out and do something. And obviously I can't do BDC, so it makes sense to come over and do a bit of IDS or whatever else is about. So yeah, I'll come and beat you, mate, somewhere.
Yeah. Looking forward to banging doors.
I don't care who wins, mate, but we'll have a drink after.
Are you driving the full season in IDS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was planned for 4 rounds this year, so it was a shorter season anyway. So we'll see. Like they're talking over here about April the 10th. I think. Sorry, April. August, yeah.
You've missed round 1, mate.
Yeah, August the 10th for the kind of the final phase of lockdown or of the restrictions. You know, so there'll still be social distancing and all that kind of stuff then. But they're hoping to get sporting events started up. So hopefully after that we could see some events starting back up again, you know.
Do you think Dave Egan's part of Illuminati and he knew all about this COVID thing and that's why he pawned BDC off and Matt and IDC on Eddie?
It makes sense, doesn't
it? Yeah. He's a canny businessman. He makes the right move at the right time, doesn't he? For Adam, the Z4 or the Z4, if you're not from America, why? What was the inspiration behind it? Because I'd only ever seen one in Formula Drift, and it was crap. So, coming from an R33, how did you end up in the Z4?
Well, obviously, it were mainly cost as sponsors DKM and Competition Clutch, which is the same company in theory, but DKM's the German side of it, and Comp Clutch is like the Jap side. So we wanted to have 2 German cars and 2 Jap cars, but then I picked the Z4 over any other BMW because you say about the one in FD, which Michael Esser drove.
Yeah,
I listened to a lot of drift podcasts and stuff, and I heard him on Maximum Driftcast basically saying that the car was like had way too much side bite and it were too much for the time. Like it were too grippy for the year that he drove it in FD. So he said like if he were driving it now, it would be a really good car. So I thought that, and then I was like, it's something different. You don't see like when this got released at Autosports, it got a
lot of attention.
Social media, like I think I got so many more likes on my Facebook page. It was unreal. So there's obviously that part of it, but it's just something different, isn't it? And I needed a new car because my Skyline was absolutely battered. That's the main reason.
The transition from driving the Skyline to driving the Z4, did it take much kind of retraining to get used to it?
Yeah, no. Like I jumped straight into it. There were a practice day on like the Wednesday before BDC round 1 last year at Teesside, and that was the first time I ever drove it.
So like, right to the event, like right to competition, pretty much, yeah.
Wait, with a Wednesday, and obviously BDC were Friday. Yeah. So I was like, I can remember, I pulled up to the start line for the very first run in it, and I was like, I'm either going to be a pussy or I'm just going to chuck it in, like, and I'm like, it's not me faggoting out, so I just chucked it in, and I made like a good lap, and I was like, yeah, like pretty much on the clipping points and stuff that were on the track from the previous BDC.
Yeah.
So like I did a lap and I was just like, this is unreal. And Loz and my missus sent me a video of it while I was in queue. And it just looked like I was on very low angle, but it was a decent lap. She was like, oh, why are you driving with no angle? And I was like, in car it felt like I was on a lot because the seating position's so far back.
Yeah.
Like of it, yeah, I've realised I've got to drive it like I'm spinning. You know, like if you're going to spin in another car, like where you're on a hell of a lot of angle, in this thing you're not actually on a lot of angle. So that took a bit of getting used to, and that's why I've bought a Z3 as a practice car. So I've got another car that's got the same seating position as it, that's a bit cheaper to drive and whatnot.
I think the other thing to chip than whatnot, Adam. I just realised that whatnot thing. Another conversation. Ignore that bit. The thing with Adam that he doesn't realise, I won't admit, is that he just literally blags it through anything. So I'm trying to think of an example. Like Adam will be doing Southbank at Teesside, and he'll change to 5th gear by accident because he thinks he's in 3rd. Any normal driver, after one clutch kick or one change, would know it's in the wrong gear. It takes Adam 7 clutch kicks to realise something's amiss here, something's not quite right. So he's done the last however many years blagging it through. You know, if there's a problem with his car, the amount of times that we've sent him out in 33 and there's been something ridiculously wrong with it, it's falling to pieces. And I don't compliment him very often, but he's a good driver. He just blags it through.
Just drives around it, like.
Yeah, just drives around it. So he's one of the people that could just jump in a car and just drive it well, like. So I'm not surprised you jumped in that and did decent, to be fair.
Like,
yeah, I've done quite a bit of driving of it years, like, and in a hell of a lot of shit cars. Like me and Matt have had, and Ben, we used to be in E36s that were like just falling to pieces and just banging doors with each other at Buxton and stuff. And I think that's helped quite a lot with jumping in, to just be able to jump in a car and go for it. Like, I went to Buxton, and John, who's our pit crew, who changes all his tyres and so looks after my car, basically makes it so I don't have to do anything other than drive at BDC. He took his S14 to Buxton, and I was there changing his tyres for him, Joe. Favour for a favour kind of thing. Come on, John, I'll change them for you. And he was like, oh, just have a go in it. So I went out for a lap, and he come in and he was like, how the fuck did you do that? Like there was smoke coming out everywhere. And you're running it round walls, and they were like, well, it's just a car, isn't it? It's got a bit of lock and a welded diff. If you've got a load of lock, you can't really go wrong, I don't think. But
yeah, I disagree.
yeah,
3 times, mate.
Yeah.
No, I think like
you tried though.
Me personally, if a car's got a welded diff and handbrake and a decent amount of lock, I'm quite confident I can jump in it and make it work without trying to be a bit big-headed. But yeah.
So to get philosophical before we finish up, where's the sport going? Like in the next kind of 5 years, I think it's going to continue on the same trajectory it's on. But the next 10 years, 15, 20 years after that, like you mentioned cars, like obviously PS13s, A86s, all that kind of stuff are going to be phased out over the next couple of years. They're getting way too expensive. They're getting way too difficult to find. So where's the next evolution of cars coming from?
BMW, isn't it?
Going? Sorry?
BMW is a key thing. You know, look how, I mean, when I put my E92 together, it was a bit of a, it were very like, it were new, weren't it? They were, me and Mike Marshall have done them, and people are jumping on them now. I think the new M4s, the new other shapes of BMW are gonna come through. There's only going to be more GT86s. There's a few chassis that will get used. And you look what and the new Supra. Look what Asbo did with like the Corolla and stuff. It proves that it's doable. We've relaxed, kind of relaxed the rules in BDC a little bit to enable different chassis to be used, because I think it's needed. But we just have to keep an eye that things are built properly in the sheds. You know, because someone sees someone like Asbo putting that Corolla together, and that's done properly. That's a savage build. But then Joe Bloggs in the shed tries to then do it to a lower standard, which we can't. Yeah, we need to keep things safe. Like things have to be safe, because we are going silly speeds, and you know there's concrete walls and stuff. You know very well that can go wrong quickly.
I'm still here to tell the tale.
I think there's still quite a lot of there's a point where people went, oh shit, SXs are running out. But I think people are coming around to the idea now that you can use new chassis. There's other stuff available. There's still plenty of old cars to be used. So I think cars-wise isn't a problem. Evolution-wise, I want to get it back to some savage fast venues, some big motorsport venues as well, to tick boxes. But also, like I'm going to keep going to, not every year, but I'm going to keep going to places like Buxton, because I think you can't get an atmosphere like that with a Buxton at Silverstone.
When you can stand up beside the car coming through that little roundabout, and literally, if you're standing at the side of the track, you're enveloped in that smoke.
Yeah,
you don't get that at the big tracks. You're 50 meters away, so you don't get the same atmosphere.
I think to get the atmosphere you've got at Buxton, that you had at Buxton, at Silverstone, you'd probably need like 1 million people watching.
I don't think you need 1 million, mate. But
have you seen how many? There must be a good few 100,000 seats in them stands around Silverstone.
There's a good few. You could probably get 100,000 people at Silverstone, couldn't you? I'd imagine.
Like Silverstone would be a bigger draw for ticket sales and stuff like that. It's it's been the more prestigious track, but it's hard to. And I compared with Dunleary in Ireland. Again, a small track where everybody is just shoved on top of the track, literally. That you're practically sitting in the car beside the driver, and it's those tracks that I absolutely adore. Mondello's fantastic. It's a great venue, and you can get pretty close, but you're never going to have that same atmosphere as you do in the Buxtons, in the Dunlearys. Even Punchestown was fantastic for that.
I don't know. At Japfest, the atmosphere at Japfest at Mondello is like unreal. Unless you buy a grandstand ticket, you can't see a thing, can you?
I haven't had it for the last couple of years. I went to. It's always good. Ireland's always good. Last couple of years have just been good. But when did we first go, Adam? Maybe like 13, 14, something like that.
The first time we went and watched was 14. Right. Then I drove in 15.
I remember going there, and it was mega.
Who was over 14? Was it Asbo?
It was when Matt Carter should have won James Dean in final. but obviously a dodgy Irish judging picked James over Mark.
Hey, we have a streak to uphold.
you know, Kieran Hines is the only man who's keeping that undefeated streak going.
I don't agree with that at all.
Did you notice the stuff on Facebook as well about obviously Dwayne being from UK?
Yeah.
Dwayne's been winning for ages.
He is on paper, he is, but he's Irish.
Yeah. So Northern Ireland will be part of it.
No, the first year we went over, it was Chris Forsberg and Vaughan Gittin Jr. were there.
Did Chris Forsberg not finish second on that event? No.
Yeah, I think he did. Second.
Yeah, that was good.
It's not been that year then. Oh, yeah.
It doesn't really fucking matter, does it?
Irrelevant. Who cares? What I'm getting at is that was a game changer year for me. Like, I went over there and literally just sat in the audience. We were competing in drifting. I didn't know any big names and all that, like whoever, but it was ridiculous. Like, it lit like, you know, hairs sticking up on your arms type of thing. You sat there going, this is amazing. You compare it to, I don't like football, but I've been to football matches when I was younger, and you've got 50,000 people in the stadium, and that atmosphere, that's what makes it, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
The grandstand has to be full to capacity for that atmosphere.
Yeah.
When you've got the grandstand full, you will get that massive atmosphere. But like normally, I wouldn't go to the grandstand. I'd stand over at behind the screen. Basically, if the grandstand is looking at the screen, the other side of the bridge. Yeah. And that's where all the drivers and spotters and all that kind of stuff would be. So that's generally where I'll watch, but it certainly wouldn't have the same atmosphere as the grandstand. The grandstand is the place to go for.
Yeah, it was amazing, and that's what made me realise, like, this is what we need over in the UK. So that's, and I think it's coming over in the UK. You know, you guys over there are a lot more like energetic for the sport and stuff, which is nice. Flamboyant. That's the word, yeah.
It's because there's nothing else happens in Ireland. We all live on the road. Like when you drive through Ireland, like I went to John Allen's to get my car mapped over here. Like you're driving down these roads and it's like, a bit looks at it, everybody lives out in sticks. Like what would be out in sticks in UK. Like whereas over here everybody's bunched together, aren't they? And there's a hell of a lot more people than in Ireland.
Yeah.
So when they get to an event, it must be like, fucking hell, there's people about.
I know, yeah. I'd say if you look at the population of Ireland, I'd say there's probably more people in London and the Greater London area than there is in the whole island of Ireland. Like, you know what I mean? So like it is kind of that bit more spread out. There's no doubt.
Whereabouts are you in the country?
Right in the middle, County Laois. So it's the only county in Ireland that's not touching a county that's touching the sea. Figure that one out.
Only county. How can it not be touching another county? That's
not touching. That's every other county is touching a county that's touching the sea.
So it's next door, but one to a county that's touching sea.
Right. So you're like where we are, pretty much.
Yeah, right in the middle. Yeah.
Definitely don't buy a speedboat.
No. There is the Portlaoise Surfing Club is a thing, believe it or not. But,
he's got a jet ski tucked away behind his car there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like I'm right in the middle, which is you've seen yourself. If you were going to John's, the road network in Ireland is much improved over the last kind of 20 years, but still, once you get off the motorways, it's not fantastic. So, like,
I bet when you come over to Buxton and you got off the motorway, I bet you felt at home, didn't you?
But me, I thought there's a little village
down.
There's a little village, and the sat nav told me to turn right. So if I'd have followed the road, it would have brought me straight into Buxton, which I found out after. But the old road to Buxton, I burnt my bastard clutch out on the way up the hill, and I burnt my bastard brakes out on the way down.
Let me guess, that's probably setup error as well, isn't it?
I could have set it for truck. So yeah, I didn't enjoy that road, but like other than that, it's a straight shot from Holyhead. So I was kind of 3.5 hours or whatever it was across, so it was grand. And for me in Ireland here, that's the maximum I'd nearly ever travel to a track. I can get to every track within the kind of 3 hours. You know what I mean? Whereas if I live down, maybe Knocknagosh or down Kerry, down that kind of area, that could be 3.5 hours to get maybe to a motorway, and then fucking you kind of get on the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? it can be tough enough now at times. But yeah, around here it's fine. Like I'm straight onto a motorway and get to wherever I need to go. Just handy.
Savage. Are we wrapping up, Adam? You've been rattling on for a while now, mate.
I've got nothing else. Have you got anything else you want to say, Neil?
No, just look, if you've made it this far, thanks very much for watching. Check out Neil Dunne Drifting.
We sometimes give them a clap, mate, if they've done this long. Like these people,
he's already had a clap.
These people are better than NHS workers.
Anybody else who's been watching, make sure you subscribe to my channel. We'll have more people on, and we'll keep doing this while lockdown's on to keep you.
Comment. I know you want to see, but we only want interesting people who have a drink.
So, if there's anybody who you want to see on, yesterday we had a few people say Dave Egan. I personally think
not bothered.
I think he's been on way too much, and everybody knows everything he's going to say.
He gets too much time, doesn't he?
I'd like to get Dave on after a few beers, but not ask him the same stuff as everybody else.
Yeah, make up a few new questions for him.
Yeah, he's been on so much stuff where he tells everybody his story and this and other. That I don't know. Maybe we could find some alternate questions to ask Dave, but I think we'd have to get him pissed to make you answer him.
He's too professional for that, isn't he?
Yeah. If you do get him on, ask him some of the stories from over in the UAE. He's got some
UAE.
Really good stories from over there.
Have you been over there with him?
No, I'd love to go, but no, not yet anyway.
Yeah.
It looks pretty mental, the quality
ridiculous.
of the wow.
But yeah, anybody who's watching, leaving comments who you want to see me and Matt speak to, and I'm sure we'll sort out getting them on. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we shall see you all later.
Good to chat, buddy. See you soon.
Take it easy.
See you later, John.